Time for the news update on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Mary Bashua Alimi. The federal government has met with labor leaders in Abuja. Although the agenda of the meeting was not made known to newsmen, it comes on the heels of the recent hike in the price of petrol across the country. The federal government's delegation was led by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, while the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, Trade Union Congress Secretary General, Nuhu Toro, led the organized labor team. The Minister of State for Labour, Nkeruka Onyejocha, Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, and Minister of Budget and National Planning, Atiku Bagudu, were also in attendance.
General discussions. Government is always desirous of engaging with labor. This is one of such engagements. We will continue to interact with them. It is a renewed commitment on behalf of government to continue to engage labor on a number of issues. These engagements have been very fruitful, and we will continue to engage with them.
Staying in the National Assembly, the House of Representatives has asked the federal government to comply with provisions of the Fiscal Responsibility Act and submit the 2025 appropriation bill. It equally wants the federal government to reverse the recent hike in the pump price of petrol and take immediate steps to stabilize the price of cooking gas. National Assembly correspondent Joke Adisa reports.
Section 11, subsection 1B of the Fiscal Responsibility Act stipulates that the federal government must not later than 4 months before the commencement of the next financial year lay before the National Assembly a medium-term expenditure framework for the next 3 financial years.
1999 Constitution.
Akwa Ibom State member Clement Jimbo says the time the National Assembly requires to exercise its functions is technically being taken away by the non-compliance of Section 11, subsection 1B of the Fiscal Responsibility Act.
The House accordingly resolved and urged the executive to comply with Section 11, subsection 1B and submit to the National Assembly 2025 budget proposal without further delays.
In another motion, the House wants a reversal of the pump price of petrol and cooking gas and tax government to stabilize the prices of these commodities while also ensuring their availability. The motion, sponsored by 102 members of the House, further demands targeted interventions, including temporary tax relief measures for low-income households.
That the escalating fuel and gas prices are impacting the cost of transportation, food, essential goods, and health care, further increasing inflation and pushing many families into deeper financial hardship.
Contributors to the motion advised the government to explore alternative energy sources to reduce reliance on petrol and gas.
Somebody who is earning 70,000 a month, his 70,000 cannot last him for 3 days.
Inasmuch as a law exists, the consequences of the discharge of that law on the common man must be addressed.
It's not only in my constituency that the masses or the poor or the people are suffering. I believe most of the constituencies, people are suffering because of this increase.
They also call on the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, NNPCL, and other relevant agencies to expedite repair and maintenance of domestic refineries. House calls on the Central Bank of Nigeria to implement monetary policies that will mitigate the adverse effects of fuel price hikes on inflation, especially as they concern essential goods and services. Joke Adisa, TVC News, Abuja.
Outside Nigeria, the United Nations peacekeeping force in Lebanon says another Israeli tank opened fire on one of its positions in the south, damaging a watchtower. Palestinian ambassador to the UN mentioned that Israel's goal in Gaza has been the forcible displacement of the Palestinian people and the annexation of the Palestinian territory. According to Gaza's health ministry, Israeli attacks have killed 65 people and wounded 140 in the last 24 hours. At least 400 persons have been killed and more than 99,000 wounded in Israeli attacks since October 7 last year. Talking sports now, the federal government of Nigeria has denied issuing any apology to the Libyan government over the Super Eagles detention fiasco. This was contained in a statement issued by the media aide to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama. The statement denounced the publication of a reported apology by Libya Observer, stating that it is a misinformation and misrepresentation of the phone correspondence between Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs and the East-based government's foreign minister. The federal government remains unequivocal in expressing its displeasure and disappointment with how the Nigerian Football Federation officials and players were treated in Libya, and calls on the Confederation of African Football to urgently ensure its disciplinary board investigates the matter and imposes appropriate sanctions based on its statutes. Mary Fowler scored a late winner as Manchester City survived a scare to beat St. Paulton in the UEFA Women's Champions League. Alana Kennedy had given Manchester City the lead with a stunning strike in the 5th minute, driving in an unstoppable effort of the... In other games, defending champions Barcelona dismantled Hammarby by 9-0, while Arsenal got a comfortable 4-1 win against Vålerenga. Now, Thomas Tuchel has been appointed England manager from January 1, 2025. The 51-year-old German, who has signed an 18-month contract, becomes the 3rd non-British permanent manager of the men's team after Sven-Göran Eriksson and Fabio Capello. Gareth Southgate resigned in July after England's defeat by Spain in the Euro 2024 final. Lee Carsley, who was overseen 4 games since being appointed interim manager in August, will remain in charge for the Nations League matches against Greece and the Republic of Ireland next month.
It's a big day, of course, to be announced as English head coach, and I'm honored. I think it's a big privilege for me. It feels like a big privilege and comes with big responsibility, but it's FA with the biggest tradition. It's the Three Lions, the country with the most competitive league, with an extraordinary squad of players, and of course competing with this with this country and with this national team, with this group of players for the biggest prize. We will give our very best to live up to it, to make our supporters proud, to make our team better, and to achieve our big goal in 20.
And that's it on the news update for this hour on Wake Up Nigeria. There's so much more to come. Just stay with us.